Hey everybody, welcome to the Sort of Okay show about horses with Buck and Kyle. Once again, Buck is missing. It is possible he is very, very short and he's actually standing in front of the camera right now, but you can't see him because the camera is shooting over top of his head. But because I am larger than life, which has been a little bit of a problem for my riding, I'm on the screen. So I guess I'll headline the show and take this whole thing over. We are doing still the American Young Riders Championship. This is our second day here. Before we start, I want to again, give a shout out to our sponsor for these 4 episodes. And I will tell you right now, it was the motivating force to actually getting one done every day. So it's kind of late tonight. I just got back to the hotel, but I really wanted to get this out for them and for you guys. And I will say, if they weren't on board right now, I probably would have just let it pass by, and it would have ended up being Sunday. So thank God for sponsors. The company again is Omega Alpha. They've done, they've been really good to us, and they support a bunch of good riders, not including us. Lauren Kiefer is sponsored by them. I know Dr. Bashir, Emily Bashir's husband, he's a very good vet, and she's a top rider in America. They use the products. He thinks very highly of them, and they're actually the product I want to highlight tonight is Regenerec, and you should probably consider looking at it as another supplement for your behavior problems due to stomach issues. Had great success with it. Selena Hanlon is a very good friend of ours. Gave me some, or helped me with some at a show this spring, and it was particularly useful for 2 of the horses I have at the advanced level that are a little bit of a nervous type, Parker and another horse that I ride, and it made a huge difference in their performance. Just sort of, I guess, again, when the stomach's upset, it's really hard to perform, and horses by nature are not designed to necessarily do and live with the stresses that we put them through. And so everything we can do to make them feel more comfortable is the right thing to do. And this product has been, since not Jersey Fresh, since Carolina Horse Show, we've been using it pretty regularly on the horses and had really good luck with it. So I've been pushing it to a few clients as well. Feel a bit like a peddler, but when you find something that works, you want to stick with it. You want to look up their lines, and unfortunately, the person who put me on it, Selena, just got left off the team for Canada. Again, it's a little unfortunate. I think it sounds like it was, from her end, and it was a questionable situation. It's a little hard to say, but it certainly is it's got to be heartbreaking. Here it was, the Olympics. And it's a really big deal. You live with this dream your whole life, and you want to go and perform. And she's been having a cracking year last year, and I think it would have been great for her to get down to Rio and have another debut for. It wouldn't be her debut for the Olympics, but with this horse, it would have been. And obviously, there's always problems when you end up in that situation. So. Hopefully Selena's bouncing back here, and I'm sure it's going to take a little while to get over that sting, because it does take a little bit, and it sucks to have gone through that. Anyways, on to young riders, the future Olympians, and I will tell you straight up, I watched, I was there all day, unfortunately, but all day saw a lot of the dressage, was coaching 5 kids there, so, I saw their performances. My kids were quite good. I was very happy with. I was actually really happy with how they rode. Some of the marks maybe could have been a little sharper, could have been a little bit better, and but they really performed. They didn't let up anything. They, if the horse was giving them trouble, they kept riding their test, and that's such a struggle for young riders and professionals alike. So I was really proud of my people. But I will say, when I was watching it, and I was seeing the horses that were going down to that ring, and I was watching the warm-up, I was pretty sure we were going to come up a bit shy, because, my God, it was unbelievable, the performance those one-star kids were putting in. And they are young riders. They're all under 18, but some of the really big performances were done by kids that I don't think, by the looks of them, they could have been more than 16 years old. So it is no longer you're never going to come to young riders, I don't think, now at the 1-star level and just get by. Last year, obviously, there was plenty of 4-star horses in there. This year, we didn't have maybe quite that field that we had last year, but I think we actually had better horses, to be quite honest with you. I think that from the horses I saw going in there, there was such incredible craftsmanship in the ring, such incredible talent in the horses, and such incredible consistency. These kids are freaking unbelievable. And, you know, everybody always says that sort of thing, but when you're watching them, and I coach a lot of young riders, you're watching them and you're like, it is scary where these kids could go if they stick with it. They already have tools easily that most people are spending the next 10 years developing. And so, you know, obviously we're going to shout out to the top 5. I'm going to get their names wrong because that'll teach you for being in the top 5. I get to mispronounce your name, and that's your punishment for being so good. So McKenna Rolled on Fernhill Imperial is leading the division. I only saw a little bit of her test because I was busy doing what I was supposed to be doing, which was coaching. I did see her in the warm-up, and it was unbelievable. You got a sense that if it was going to the ring that way, it was going to be hard to touch. Great performance. Emma Johnson, I've been watching this one all week. I've seen her through the spring. Beautiful rider. Her just unbelievable position, unbelievable technique. The horse in the warm-up today, she was warmed up by Jackie Brooks. The head, the pole position, it never changed. It wasn't just high in the pole, it was high through the shoulder. The consistency and the tempo. I mean, Jackie did a great job bringing it to the ring. She usually rides with Clayton Fredericks. She's riding one of the horses that he sourced, Effie Coconut Kiss. And, I mean, it is phenomenal. I have watched it before. It's a really pretty horse. It's got, it's a refined animal. It looks like it's going to be quite something. And I've seen it jump too. So I think she's going to be a hard one this weekend to shake off that spot because this kid can really ride. And I think for the, she's Canadian. So for the future of Canada, it's always hard to say because it's the people that stick with it that make it. But this kid, if she sticks with it, it's going to be frightening. Megan Traham on Trainham, again, going to mispronounce your name. That'll teach you. On Lord Lombardi was, I mean, again, watching her in the warm-up, I didn't get to see much of her test, but watching her in the warm-up, threw in the back, fluid the whole way. These kids could go and ride pure dressage on these horses. I don't know the full history on all of them, but I don't think that they're out there doing a ton of stuff before these kids got them as far as, doing Olympics and 4-stars and stuff. And these kids are matched really well with them. So I'm really excited to see them go out and go cross country. Then Anik, I shouldn't even try to pronounce her name, but you know what? She's Canadian and she's going to get it anyways, which is Niemüller. I've coached her in a clinic a couple of years ago on a horse that she rode at Young Riders last year. She really had a lot of desires, very good to teach. I told her at the time I didn't think the horse was good enough to be at the prelim level and be competitive. I know that didn't go over very well with her and her mother, but I have a feeling right now on the horse she's sitting on, which is another Clayton Frederick sourced horse, which is Effie Akari. That one is a really special looking horse. I actually shipped it up from Florida for him to have her pick it up at Fairhill a couple of years ago. So she's been producing it, and kudos to her again. Jackie Brooks warmed her up. It looked incredible all week. It was one of the ones I kept looking at and thinking that if it went to the ring like that, it would be really hard to beat. And she did. She laid it down there. Look, when you see those sort of horses, it's a little thicker. I think the Coconut Kiss horse looks like it might be a little bit more of a possibility at the higher levels, but it's not lacking anything. And the kid is really determined. So I'm really going to be interested to watch it go on because she's not done here for sure. I think the jumping through the weekend, she's going to have to really ride her best. But if she does do that or ride just about her best, she will be good enough to finish on that as well. So I'm excited for that. Again, a Canadian rider. So the Canadian team, well, we'll get to them in a minute, the different Canadian team. Lee Camilio on, oh my God, would you people please name your horses like something like Bill? But it's Caharoon, V-E. This is why Buck needs to be on the show because he's a lot better at mispronouncing these names and getting away with it. And this horse looked really unbelievable all week as well. She got a 45. The lead's on a 41, so it's a very tight grouping. She's in 5th. Got a Fernhill horse next in 6 on a 45. Ellis ruled. So I'm assuming there's she's got, I think, a sister maybe in this as well. Well, one in 1st possibly. And then Hallie Curry from Area 3 on Resolute Protector. So that's one of ours. I think she could have done easily into the 42. She just didn't go into the ring with quite enough pizzazz. She knows it, but it's hard to be terribly disappointed with a 45. However, she will be disappointed with a 45. She's in 7th. It's still tight. All these kids got to do is go through the weekend and really put that pressure on through the weekend. And at the end of the weekend at the 1-star level, the one thing that's consistent is typically they go into show jumping and they have an absolute panic attack because it's their first time in a championship. Their team score depends on it and all of that. And it's a bit hard for them to deal with. Now, there's a couple other shout outs I want to make here, and I don't mean to pass over anybody, but again, I saw a bunch of horses through the end of the day that were unbelievable and hard to touch. But one that I shouted out to earlier this week, Evil Munchkin, that kid did a fantastic job on that horse. He can be a little tricky in the dressage, gets his neck a little high. I know she's had a little bit of trouble sort of really matching up with him. She did a fantastic test. I think it's one of the best tests I've ever seen him do, if not the best one he's done. And he was tied for 7th now on a 45. I'm hoping she keeps it up through the weekend. That horse can really jump a clear round, so I would expect to see a little bit of pressure put on the people up in front, because that horse he's allergic to wood. He's quite something. And then I had to. We've got 2 Home Smith girls in here, and unfortunately has dropped we've got Toshka Home Smith on Grace O'Malley, and I'm sorry, I have it written here, and then Carmen Home Smith. So 2 sisters, both Home Smith girls. Nick Home Smith rode on the Canadian team multiple times back in the 80s. He was pretty much the go-to person at that point for our team. Incredible rider, incredible horseman, and an incredible businessman in horses, because like most Canadians, he had to make his money in the business to actually support his upper level horses. Did a lot of importing from New Zealand, spent a lot of time down there in the winters to bring horses up. Produced a lot of top riders in Canada. Mike Winter was a working student for him for a while and was really instrumental in helping Mike kind of understand how to do the career and make a profession. Shalane Kozak worked with them for a long time. Same thing. Nick was a big part of Canada in eventing and producing riders for quite a while. And then he sort of stepped back, and he actually has a cat skiing operation in the mountains in BC. And it's supposed to be a great operation. If you're interested in something like that, he offers first-class chef service for people when they come to the lodge and stay there. My brother's gone because my brother's more successful than me apparently, and he gets to do that stuff. And said it was unbelievable. And my brother's a bit of a ski snob, so he would know. Nick Home Smith, the one thing with him I will say, and this is a bit of the concern that people should probably have, Nick wasn't known for his dressage riding at all. He was known for his cross country and show jumping riding. He won the Pan Ams on a horse called Rudapest back in when it was at Bromont. I think it was in the early 90s. It was probably his last top horse, and it was very good on the flat. But if his kids can ride this well on the flat, and I've heard rumor of them, and I think they're going to be quite incredible to watch cross country and so on. Because the other thing with Nick is he always produced very good cross country riders, and he had the same sort of philosophy I have, which is first you've got to make them safe on cross country, then you can worry about the other technical aspects and the money marks basically on the dressage. So if these kids are doing that well on the flat now, look out is all I can say. Let's see, which I hate to say something nice about another Canadian. I'll think of something horrible to say about him later. Let's see, there was another couple that I want to talk about, but unfortunately I've got such a long list, it's hard to do, and I don't want to bore you guys to tears, so I'm going to go to the team competition because it is, it's quite cool. Canada is leading the team competition, the 1-star and the 2-star. Now, let me just say that's happened a couple of times. They need to keep this stuff together because they legitimately with these riders have the chance of winning both divisions. And to win gold in 2 divisions like that in the team is a huge accomplishment. They've done a great job putting this part together. Their 2-star team is down to 3 riders, so they really have to all perform tomorrow. And I certainly will be, trying to encourage mine to step up, and I expect she will. That Shelby and the other 2 should find this to be quite an easy go, I would say, because they've gone advanced and the course is fairly allowable at a CIC. Then in the 1-star, they're in the lead they're on a 37. The next team, which is area 6, is on, I think they're on a 139, 137 for Canada, 139 for area 6. I thought area 1 was in there somewhere, but it looks like then it's area 4. I saw a bunch of the area 1 riders and they looked unbelievable. The thing with the Canadian team is that they've got 2 in the low 40s, and I think those 2 should be pretty genuine through tomorrow. And I think, come into show jumping day, that's when you start to see people either, finding themselves a little bit stressed or not. So another shout out, and I think maybe the area 1 is in 4th possibly. I don't have it here. I know that area 3 is in 5th, but area 1's back. It's been a little bit lacking for a while. Mickey Kusher has been coaching them and putting together a very good team of horses, and then those riders rode really, really well today. The one kid I think is quite young, and none of them look very old, which obviously they're not under 18, but they look like they've probably got a couple of years left to come. And she's doing a really good job recreating a program, and that's a big thing in our sport in these areas. There's been some real strong areas in the past, and then the program falls apart and they just disappear from the map. Area 7 is a great example. Used to be really strong at one point. They changed the coordinator, and from that, everything fell apart, and they've been really hard pressed to restructure their program. I know they have approached a coordinator that Area 3 had for a while to implement a new program. I talked to her about that the other day, about how I thought it probably needed to go, because setting up programs is basically, following a template. So anyways, a few areas that are really coming on. Area 2, obviously, it had dropped off for a while. It's coming back strong. I think that, Area 5 is in the 1-star is working through the riders coming for the first time and discovering how difficult competing against these kids is. They are a good group, and it's well coached, and it's a very strong program. And I think they'll go home and go, oh my God, what do we have to do to make this better? What sort of horse quality do we need, and that sort of thing. And, you do need some real quality horses, because I promise you, every one of these horses, when you're watching it go and these kids riding, they're a threat. And all that needs to happen is they just need to kind of stick with it and realize this isn't a 3-year goal. It's a 10-year goal or a 15-year goal, and these kids will be riding on international teams as seniors. So enough saying nice things about them, because, these young riders, they just drive you crazy. And I have had enough for the day. So tomorrow starts at 8:30, cross country for the 1-star first, and then the 2-star. The courses, I said, are very nice. The great thing is these guys are out there watering the footing. They're aerating. We had good rain last night, but it dried up really quickly, and they are working hard to make that footing good. So we're going to have a good run tomorrow, and it's just going to come down to jumping all the fences and getting that time done. I think the time, to my eyes, looks like it's probably pretty doable. The 1-star is always, they're always fast. So I think they should find that quite good. And then the 2-star, it's almost a little tougher sometimes, because it's a little shorter as a CIC. So you got more jumps in a shorter period of time. And the kids just need to really make sure that they get the jumps jumped before they try to make the time happen. So, it'll be fun to watch tomorrow. I'll get to see it, because you can see a lot of the course from down in the hollow. I would strongly suggest anybody in the area should come out and watch, because I think it's going to be a good day of sport. We're done about 12:30, and then you can go and probably watch some show jumping or pure dressage up in the top. And those kids are jumping huge fences in the junior and in the young rider division. And then the dressage is absolutely top notch. So it's a neat thing, because you don't need to see 3 great seniors. You're seeing at least 10, 15 proper top riders that are all just young. That's all. Anyways, thanks for joining in, and I hope you check out the Omega Alpha products. And again, thanks for sponsoring, because it's going to force me to do another one tomorrow. And hopefully I have great news, like Area 3 moved up into first in both divisions. Maybe not, but we can hope. And it is a long weekend, and it's a long way to Sunday. So thanks a lot. Bye.